All right, guys, so we're going to build quite a few projects in this course, but before we do that, I really want to zone in on the different aspects of Tailwind, the different classes, and what we can do with it. And I think one of the best ways to do that is with what I like to call a sandbox. So basically, I have this repo, I'll have the link somewhere in the course, and we have the done version and the starter version. So if we look at done, we're going to see all these folders that pertain to different areas of Tailwind. So typography, layout and positioning, borders, filters, Flexbox, all kinds of stuff. Basically all the classes and class groups that Tailwind offers. So we're going to go through in the next, I believe the next two sections, we'll be focusing on all these different things. Now in the done folder, if I were to look at typography, for example, there's just a single HTML file. And we're going to go over all the different classes for font family, font size, font weight, letter spacing, all this stuff. And then at the bottom of each file, I have all the available classes, because I'm not going to get to demonstrate every single class because some are kind of repetitive and are just different sizes and so on. So it's kind of like having the documentation right in the file. All right, so if we look at the starter, so we'll go in here and we have all the same folders. If I look at typography, you'll see I do have all the comments and stuff at the bottom of the page, but I don't have any of the HTML. We're going to do all that together. We're going to talk about what each class does and you know, give you an example of it. Now, this I want to say that this part of the course is almost optional. So if you do have experience with Tailwind and you know, you're familiar with a lot of the common classes, you might want to skip this or maybe skip around and just do certain parts of it. It's really up to you. If you're interested in just creating projects, you could skip this part altogether. But if you are a beginner and you've never really used Tailwind, I would suggest that you go through the whole thing. But again, it's really up to you. It's preference. So what you want to do is get the starter version on your machine, because that's what we're going to be using. So you could either clone this repository if you're familiar with Git, or you can just download the zip, which is what I'm going to do, and just open that up. And then what I would suggest you do is take the starter version and just either move or copy that somewhere on your machine, like your desktop, which is what I'm going to do, and then just rename it from starter to just Tailwind Sandbox, and then open this folder up with your text editor. I'm going to use VS Code. So now I have all the files and folders on the side here, and there's also an index file which has basically links to all of these. And I'm using an extension called Live Server with VS Code. That's what I'm going to be using. But you could just open all these HTML files just directly from your file system. But I'll say open with Live Server, and the index page is going to look like this. So basically we have links to all of those pages. All right, so most of these are going to be blank. So if we look at typography, that's blank. Some will have some starter HTML in it, like the utility first example. That's actually going to be what we talk about next. But now you have easy access to all those pages, and you have, you know, the actual HTML files over here. And there's a few ways to get Tailwind set up. What we're doing for the sandbox is simply throwing in the CDN link right here, the script tag. So this isn't really recommended for production, but it's fine for what we're doing here. After we're done with all the sandbox stuff, we'll create a better environment where we can actually customize and do other things as well.